If you're looking for best practices for your bank or credit union, join us while we talk all things sales, marketing, and strategy for financial institutions. Let's make it happen with FiGrow Solutions.
Hi there, I'm Meredith Olmstead, CEO and founder of FiGrow Solutions. We are a digital marketing and sales and service consulting agency, and we work exclusively with banks and credit unions. And I am here with our digital ads, our director of digital ads, or digital ads director, Ida Burr. Say hi, Ida.
Hi, everyone.
So Ida and I are revisiting an old podcast of ours. We were actually looking at one of our more popular podcasts, episode 61, and it was all about how to use AI to create digital ads for your financial institution that really convert, basically. And so it was a very popular topic. But then when we looked at it, we realized that we recorded it 2.5 years ago. And I was like, how have we gotten 2.5 years into AI already? Like, it seems like AI is brand new. But so I said, Ida, maybe we should revisit this topic and record another podcast on this to make sure that we're up to speed or we're up to date on this topic. So we decided to hit record and really talk about AI for creating digital ads. So in the original episode we basically were talking about that it is really good for like ideas and like a starting point. Using AI is really good for coming up with ideas, like for keyword lists, for new areas and markets, for titles and descriptions and all those kinds of things. You can get a lot of really good starting point ideas from AI tools out there, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all of those things. So I think back in January of 24, Ida, you were still you called it Bard, which was a different AI tool. What AI tools are you now using for helping with your digital ads services, basically?
So I've officially made the switch. I pay for the Chat GPT. I always get the letters mixed up, but that one has been the one I've been using for a while now.
Okay.
And I've experimented with a lot, but that one seems to be the one that's most interactive.
Okay, got it. And so we are using that one, the paid version, kind of across the team for sure. Although I know a few of our team are also using a couple of other LLMs. But so besides just coming up with ideas and generating ideas and generating popular keyword lists and like, reworking content, like shortening text to make sure that it fits, say, within the character limits. What else are you now using AI for? Because I think that was a lot of what we talked about before, and that it's never going to be like giving you a finished product, that it's really important to make sure you're looking at AI results with a strategic lens, as somebody who has worked in financial services and been doing digital ads for banks and credit unions for like a decade. So what else are you doing with AI that's useful to share?
So one thing that I've been experimenting with is just getting help identifying trends. So if I see costs go up or costs go down, either in pay-per-click or in social, I'll kind of send a screenshot of the results and just ask, like, what do you think happened in the past week? Or, what kind of other things should I be looking for? And it will actually have me go in and build a custom report and ask me to export it and then drop that into the chat so it can have a really detailed information of like, it'll ask sometimes for like the time of day that results are happening, the locations that results are happening. And it is able to quickly analyze that and kind of find things that would probably take me a half hour to dig through all that to find.
Got it. So it's helping with reporting and basically trying to kind of dig through large amounts of data or results. So you can like download a whole spreadsheet worth of information that's got really specific ad results in it, upload that to the chat tool, and it will slice and dice and give you some patterns that might be useful for for either reporting, or is it useful to make changes? Like, would it tell you like, hey, you need to up your
Yeah.
budget, or you need to run ads like this more, or you need, what kind of changes are you making based on those results?
Yeah, so sometimes it'll pull something as specific as like, between 9 and 10 a.m. seem to be the most valuable clicks that these ads get.
Gotcha.
And it would suggest maybe changing your bidding a little bit for those times
I
or
gotcha.
excluding certain times that you don't want ads to show up,
Oh, nice.
or
Okay.
even locations and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So it helps you kind of drill down on some of your targeting and the way potentially you might have an ad campaign set up in a certain area based
Mhm.
on like recent past performance. That's pretty cool. So like you could maximize people's budgets a little bit better for time of day or for, ad type based on those kinds of that kind of analysis. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What else are you using it for? I know you said something about coding. Like, what do you mean coding?
Yes. So it has really come a long way with coding. So we like to set up tracking for applications, and sometimes we don't get instructions to set up that tracking. So I'll go through each page and try to figure out the best way to track the way that that happens, which isn't always easy because there's not always a URL update or, page path flow you could follow very closely. So
Hmm.
sometimes, it's button clicks, sometimes it's specific calls to action.
Okay.
But one time in particular, I could not find anything by myself. And I thought, like, let me just see if they have any ideas. Um, and on the last page of the application, the headline was a specific, like, thank you for completing your application type thing. So I figured out a way with chat how to create a conversion based off of that headline existing
Mm.
on a page.
Oh, wow.
So
So,
then
like,
I
it
didn't
can
have to
track the
depend.
language on the thank you
Yes,
page or the thank you interaction. And then when that
yes,
shows up, it would mark it as a completed application.
yes.
Oh, that's
Because
super
there's
cool.
not always dependable button clicks or URL changes, so you have to kind of get creative. But
Yeah, it's funny. We work with so many different clients that have different
mhm.
LOS systems and online application systems. And so there's such a variety. I mean, some of them are, are tried and true. We work with a lot on Meridian Link, but then you'll have some of
Hmm.
these one-off, random smaller little application programs that you end up having to kind of troubleshoot your way through the tracking because they're still a little behind the times potentially when it comes to giving access or tracking those fully completed applications.
Yeah.
What else? So the other thing besides like just data feeding it in, so I know that the chat can also be really good for putting other kinds of data in. Um, I would assume like when you're writing ad copy, you're able to kind of tell chat, okay, here's the compliance requirements for these ads. Make
Hmm.
sure that anything you write meets those requirements. Are you able to do that?
Yeah. So making sure there's asterisks where they need to be, that the disclaimer is like in the correct spot with it being one click away, things like that for sure.
Got it. So, are there other like policies and procedures and like new features and things that you're able to kind of introduce or understand better or work through with AI?
Yes. Well, so if anybody who works with pay-per-click or Facebook, we get emails constantly from those platforms, new policy updates. And sometimes I'll just take an entire email and paste it in and say, can you pull out what would be important for my clients that are in financial industries that are in the
Mm,
United States? Because sometimes it's like, this is only if you live in UK
yeah,
or if you're advertising to Mexico or,
yeah,
so it helps me kind of take out the noise of
yeah.
what are in these long new policies, but
Hmm.
also if I have trouble understanding one piece, I'll say like, what's one step back? What should I look into so that I understand what this is referring to type of situation. So sometimes I just get a little lost in all the language, and it
Yeah.
helps me kind of dissect it and take a step back.
Well, and I assume that that is going to help with compliance, like, and errors. So, because, on occasion you'll get an
Hmm.
ad campaign or something that gets rejected. And so being able to kind of filter through those errors or any of those policies and procedures to kind of figure out, okay, where was it that we missed something in the ad, in the ad platform or in the ad creation? I mean, there's human error is a thing. So, occasionally something might slip through that you missed, and then
Hmm.
potentially the AI tool could help find that a little faster for you in a set of, like a lengthy set of policies and procedures. Awesome.
Yes.
So would you say that it's still these tools, I mean, they continuing to evolve and make your life a little bit more efficient and easy and make ads more successful?
Yeah, I think they're definitely getting smarter. There was a while I felt like it started making up things, and that's something you
Yeah.
always have to look out for. On the bottom of every chat, it says chat makes errors. Please
Yeah.
fact check.
Yeah.
But it definitely seems to be evolving, especially in the like when we look back 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny because we were, when we first recorded this podcast, it was like, brand new days. But
Yeah.
it's funny to think that even a year or 2.5 years later, AI is still such a hot topic, and it's still evolving and getting better in just this specific area of creating digital ads for financial institutions. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for the update, Ida. This is super useful. If you're interested in learning more about our digital ad services, please visit us at figrow.com. We would love to connect with you. We also have lots of other great podcasts, blogs, case studies. So lots of good resources for you on our website. And otherwise, we'll all just get out there and let's make it happen.